Hello and welcome to the Duke Chronicle Sportswrap, your weekly show for all things Duke sports. My name is Jack Dolgin and we're back for another weekend. It was a very busy one as usual. This one, not quite the best one for Blue Devil fans, but bear with us. We've got a lot to go through. We start off with the football team who is playing at Chapel Hill against UNC. The Tar Heels defeated the Blue Devils 66-31 with quarterback Marquise Williams leading the way. An astounding 494 yards thrown, 404 in the first half, and he counted for 5 total touchdowns. Although for the Blue Devils, Jalade Duncan did have a career-high day with 115 yards on the ground and 1 score, all on 13 carries. The Blue Devils fall to 6-3 and 3-2 in the ACC, while UNC is now number 17 in the country with an 8-1 and 5-0 record overall. The number 5 men's basketball team finished its exhibition slate with a game against Livingstone. The Blue Devils won handily by a final score of 119-54 Wednesday night. It was Luke Kennard who shot 6 of 11 from three-point range and led the game with 25 points. The Blue Devils will be in action this Friday against Siena for their home and season opener. The number 14 women's basketball team also finished off its exhibition slate 2 games this week. They first played Pfeiffer, winning 113-36. Azura Stevens, 29 points on 12 of 13 shooting, very efficient. And then they beat St. Leo on Sunday by a final score of 116-33. So you just switch the 1 digit between those 2 games and you have the same results. Very impressive showing consistently by the Blue Devils. Rebecca Greenwell, 26 points, one of 6 players to finish in double figures, and the Blue Devils will kick off their season on Friday at the Palestra, taking on Penn, the historic venue, this coming Friday. The men's soccer team was in action, and we talked about it not being the best week for the Blue Devils. The men's soccer team fell on Wednesday 2-1 in the first round of the ACC Championship Tournament. The Blue Devils are now going to be very much on the bubble for the NCAA tournament selection. They do not know their fate yet, but they were wearing pink in this matchup that they lost, and it is snapping their 5-game win streak. I guess because it was no longer October, those pink shirts not paying off anymore. The number 4 field hockey team also fell in the ACC tournament championship, or in the championship tournament, I should say. They fell number 5, Virginia, by a final score of 5-1. It was the second loss for the Blue Devils in Charlottesville this year, and they will be playing Stanford in the NCAA tournament on Saturday, November 14th. That will also take place in Charlottesville. The Blue Devils could potentially face Virginia in the 3rd round, but they will take on Stanford, who they played and lost to in a heartbreaking overtime finish earlier this season. So the men's and field hockey team, the men's soccer and field hockey team were eliminated in the first round of the ACC tournament. The volleyball team split this weekend. They first went to Georgia Tech, where they were swept in 3 sets of very close match, 25-23, 25-22, 27-25. The Blue Devils came back, though. They played at Clemson and beat the Tigers by a final score of 25-23, 25-12, 25-22. It was Emily Sklar and Leah Meyer with double-digit kills in both games. The Blue Devils are now 13-11 overall with an 8-6 ACC clip. They've got 2 weekend matches this week, a Friday at 11 a.m. against Syracuse at home and a Sunday at 1 o'clock against Boston College. The swimming team, which has a program best rankings of women's at number 17 and men's at number 19 in the country, they faced off at Tyshoff Aquatics Pavilion against Old Dominion University and William and Mary, and the Blue Devils, both on the men's side and the women's side, defeated both set of teams in commanding fashion, and the teams now finish their fall dual meet portion, their dual meet portion of the fall season with flawless records. Both teams have gone 5-0. That's the first time in program history. So certainly a strong kickoff to the season for both men's and women's swimming for the Blue Devils. The women's golf team took on 2 opponents in the inaugural East Lake Cup tournament, which was essentially the top 4 teams from last season all playing together. The Blue Devils took on and defeated Stanford by a final score of 4-1 in match play, something the field hockey team would very much like to do this coming weekend. However, the Blue Devils fell short in the second game in Georgia, falling to Southern California 4-1 as well. The men's golf team had the final round of the Kiowa Classic. Our mark rained out, and they tied for 3rd after the final day was rained out. So the Blue Devils have finished off their fall slate. And another team that has finished off its fall slate, except for one player, which we'll get to, is the men's tennis team. It was the men's tennis team playing at the Wake Forest Invite, and it was TJ Pura beating fellow Blue Devil Vincent Lin for the Constellation Championship. Nico Alvarez will be the last player for the Blue Devils to play this fall. He will play the 2015 USTA ITA National Indoor Collegiate Championships from November 12th to November 15th, assuming all goes well, to finish the fall season. Alvarez, by the way, is a sophomore and a top player. The Peruvian is looking to have another big season, as he had a very strong finish earlier this year, finishing number 2 at a big tournament. The women's tennis team was also in action. A 3-day stand at the Kitty Harrison Invitational ended on Sunday. The Blue Devils finished the tournament with a strong record of 15-2. It was Caitlin McCarthy undefeated this weekend. She is the first player on the team to reach 10 victories. She's 10-1 overall, and the team is done for the fall season. And finally, this cross-country team winning at the 3-Stripe Invitational. Another strong performance for these men. Sean Thompson, once again, leading the way, this time in the rain. So, in conclusion, the football team goes down. The men's basketball team, the women's basketball team finish off exhibition play in strong fashion. Men's soccer, field hockey, and their ACC tournament championships in the first rounds. The volleyball team splits the women's and men's swimming team with another strong showing. The women's golf team, another strong showing. They finish in second place. Men's golf team finishes tied for third. Men's tennis with a strong consolation showing. The women's tennis team 15-2, and the cross-country team with a big W. That's it for Sports Wrap. You can follow us at Duke Basketball and at Chronicle Sports for all Duke sports info right here from the Duke Chronicle. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you back same time, same place next week. Until then.